So, I've wanted to do this video for such a long time now. And every time I go to do it, I don't know, I've just put it off for a while. And it's kind of a vulnerable video, to be honest. And it's not that I feel that I need to explain myself, but in a way, I would like just people to understand me a little bit better, I suppose. And so, yeah, it's just about staying in my lane. And what do I mean by that? It's like there's passions and things that I love doing, and I've put them off for so long because I've always had this thing where I've had to I felt like I've had to choose between, just work and paying the bills and actually doing what I love, which is, my art and my creativity and my well-being stuff. And there's books within me. There's, I haven't even really tapped into my true, gift with my artwork. Not yet anyway, but I'm developing it. And that's actually where I'm at now. And forgive me because I can have a tendency to go off into tangents. But basically, what I'm trying to say is I've always felt that I've had to choose between the two. And even that I've had to choose between well-being and art, where the two are actually so intertwined that, they actually are both so complementary to each other. Like, my art helps me to feel well. It helps my mental health. But I have got lots of different passions, and I'm actually really, really good at helping others to figure out their path in life. I'm a qualified life coach. I'm a qualified meditation teacher. I've never sat idle. I've always been doing some kind of training. Now after 16 years, I'm just about to wrap up my education with my graphic design. I completed 3 years. I traveled 160 kilometers round trip every single day as a single mother. And I never got my qualification because there was one exam that I didn't pass. And the year I finished my third year, the recession hit. And I was at a place anyway where I was burnt out and exhausted, and I was going through some personal stuff. And I never really wanted to, the idea of going and working as a web designer never, ever interested me. My passion was in illustration and logo design and branding, and it's what I'm really good at. And they're skills that I'm developing now, with the illustration skills anyway. So bear with me because I know I'm going off into tangents here, but the point is, now after 16 years, the reason that I'm completing and finishing that final exam now is for a sense of inner completion. It's nagged at me for the last 16 years. So that's where I'm at now. I'm not really in a place where I can start something brand new or focus on my dreams and what I really want to do. I'm in a kind of a season of completion, reviewing, clearing. But back to the nails. So with the nails, I kind of thought, okay, that would be a really good little side hustle. Well, actually, here's the thing. Like I said, I'm a qualified life coach, and I had been thinking of developing little packages and things like that. And I was thinking of ways that I could earn income myself, so that I wouldn't have to go and work in these stressful jobs. And what was lacking for me with the life coaching was the self-belief that I actually could do this and putting myself out there. And I had just sort of done up like a little studio in my garden, like my own kind of salon studio. And I was thinking, okay, I've got a little space out there now. What can I do with it? And I remember just feeling really confused. And, you know, to be honest, I felt like I was going around in circles for a long time in my life. And I was going through some mental health stuff. I was dealing with PTSD, and a lot of the time with that, it's really, really hard to make clear decisions. It does affect our cognitive abilities, our decision making. And, you know, I felt like I was kind of going around in circles all the time and caught in this trap of like having to work in these stressful jobs and then wanting to do all these things that I loved, like, and develop my own gifts. And it was seriously stressful for so many years. Anyways, like I said, I did my little studio salon and I thought, okay, there's something that I could do out there, you know, that I'd be able to earn money from home. And I remember talking to someone that I grew up with. I don't know if I could even say that we're close friends anymore. I still love her to bits, but we're not so close anymore. And so I remember talking to her, and, you know, she had been talking about where she was at with the direction that she wanted to head in. And I remember talking to her a few times about like my dreams and things that I really wanted to do with my life. And some of the things that we both wanted to do were similar, which for me was not a problem. I actually even loved the idea of collaboration. But I found when I spoke to her that she would never really kind of encourage me with the things that I was really, truly passionate about. And when I spoke to her, I was almost begging for like someone to kind of recognize, okay, this is what you're good at. I just needed that friend's advice. And you know, she ended up saying, you know, why don't you just do something completely different, like go and do nails or beauty or something like that. And you know, I had sort of thought about doing something with beauty because, or doing something like, okay, I could turn that into a little salon. And I had kind of been thinking of maybe doing something more holistic, like massage or facials or something. Now, I used to be into like beauty and makeup, and I still was. I still am. And I love, you know, having my nails done and things like that. And so when she said that, I was like, oh yeah, I could just do, you know, something completely different. I thought, okay, yeah, it's something that's never going to be out of demand. There's always going to be people wanting to get their nails done. So I went and invested. I just thought, yeah, that'll be a great little side hustle, a great way for me to like earn money on the side, and then I can use that to support me as an artist. So even as I'm saying this, I'm noticing this has just been such a pattern in my life, because I listened to this podcast the other day by Robert Greene, and he was saying, when you're doing things that aren't truly in alignment, your heart is not fulfilled. And if you just take the bold risk to just do what you love, then everything else will fall into place. So anyways, I went and invested in the training for the nails. It was quite a lot of money for me at the time. I actually borrowed the money. And I did the training, and I invested more money into my kit and all the things that I needed to set myself up. And it was a lot of money. And at the same time, I was kind of working in like 3 other jobs, you know, whatever I could do to bring in an income. And when I finished the training, I started practicing, and I realized, oh my God, you know, how much effort I was going to have to put into just this one thing, because I'd have to do all my social media. I was going to have to really promote myself, and I was going to have to practice a lot. And that would mean I'd have to have, you know, invest more money into my nail kit. And I had this little inner feeling that, like, this is just not feeling like it's fully in alignment. And I didn't want to admit it to myself at the time. The other big thing was that I was working with a lot of chemicals, and like, I make an effort to use toxin-free everything. I make my own cleaning products. I make my own soaps and serums for my face and body butters and all of that. And I really make an effort to not have chemicals around me, or use them on my skin or my hair. And all of a sudden I was like breathing in all these chemicals, and I thought, oh my God, I don't think this is... But I didn't want to admit that at the time. And I thought, oh no, I've set up my nail page, you know, I've borrowed the money, I've put all this effort into doing this thing, and it's going to make me look like I'm just like flaky or scattered or whatever. So long story short, I really had to be just brutally honest with myself. I knew that, you know, because I'd go and I'd put the effort into doing my nails, and I would just, it just wouldn't be feeling right for me. I'd be looking at all my little books and my children's book and the things that I really wanted to do. And I'd be thinking, when will I ever get a chance to get to those things, you know? And for me, it was like, I'm not feeling this in my heart. And for me to do this, it's going to mean that I have to put all of my effort. I'd need to go all in just doing nails. And it just didn't feel right. And I'm just going to have to say this, because if you are looking for a good nail artist and an amazing beauty therapist, my niece, Winnie, has just set up her own little studios, Renee Studios. She does nails, she does eyebrows and lashes, and she's absolutely amazing. Renee Studios in Wexford Town, opposite where the stores used to be. I just had to say that because I was actually really inspired by Winnie, who set up her own little business when she was like 16 years of age during lockdown, saved up all of her money from her weekend job, and she went and built her own studio, her own salon in the garden. Literally, she built it like with her dad. She even like priced everything. She ordered all of the gravel for the pathway. She's just at 16 years of age, and she's gonna, I mean, the world is her oyster. But she had a true passion for what she was doing with the beauty and with the nails, and you could see that in her, and you can still see that in her. And for me, I felt like I was just being a bit of a fraud doing the nails, because not only with the chemicals and just even taking off the nail polish off people actually kind of makes me feel a little bit sick, to be honest. Yeah, I've got a thing about sanding things down, even though, you know, I worked with wood for years and years and years. But yeah, it just didn't feel fully in alignment. And I really had to be honest with myself a few months ago and just say, you know, there's certain things that I have to let go of that are not in alignment, and I have to be honest about that. And I had to be honest about the nails and just say, this is just not what I want to put my energy and effort. It's not where my heart is at. There's still so many ideas that I have that I want to do with my little space. You know, a part of it was that I loved the idea of like girls coming around and having chats with women. And I loved the idea of having my little salon in my garden where, you know, women could come around and I could be having the chats with them, and it was like a little girly space. There's still lots of little ideas that I have that I want to do with my space, but more in alignment with what I've already, the gifts that I already have. So, you know, like I was talking about my with the well-being and the coaching. I also do energy practices and things like EFT, which is amazing for working on so many different issues. These are just ideas at the moment. Like I said, I'm not really in the season of deciding and moving forward with another plan just yet. But watch this space, because I do have little things brewing in my mind. But that's just it with the nails. I suppose I just want people to understand me better. And, you know, some people could see it as, you know, she's going in this direction, she's going in that direction. But for me, I don't see it as a failure. Like, I did try, and I was honest enough to admit that this just isn't for me. But at least I've been trying. At least I haven't been sitting on my arse and doing nothing. And, you know, I've always been, even though people might maybe see it as I've been going around in circles, I've been putting effort into like either training or trying different things. And I suppose people don't really have any idea what I've been doing behind the scenes with my writing and my books and things like that. And that's something that, you know, I'm really going to be bringing to life over the coming years, because they definitely deserve to be shared with the world. So yeah, just to say, like, if there's something that you're doing and it doesn't feel fully in alignment, just have that healthy dialogue with yourself where you can ask yourself, is this really for me, or am I just holding on to it because I think I should? Because I was for ages and it wasn't going anywhere anyway. So that's my little message of the day. And, you know, even if it's not bringing you financial rewards at the moment, stay in your lane of doing what you love, because somehow or other you will be rewarded for it. So that's my little message for today. And yeah, have a great day, everybody, and watch this space, because like I said, there's so many more things that I've got in my mind.